Now, from across the tri-states, this is KHQA Sports.
Well, thanks to Reese Carmichael's walk-off home run last night, the Canton Tigers have fashioned a rare sporting feat. Elite Eight appearances in 3 different sports in one season. Unfortunately, the Tigers' previous 2 attempts to reach state, soccer and basketball, fell short of the promised land. Could this team make up for 25 years of state futility? Well, Canton was down 2-0 to Russellville early, but this is Lucas Brown, and that's an RBI single, and that, my friends, would have the lead. Russellville, though, would respond, build a 5-1 lead on a 3-run homer. Canton would answer in kind in the third. Levi Gauss leaving the yard. That was good. This was better. Your next batter, Austin Hoeing, he's going to leave the yard as well. We've got ourselves back-to-back jacks, and Russellville's lead had been cut to 5-3. We go to extra innings, tied up at 7. In the bottom of the 8th, the aforementioned Lucas Brown doubling right here. He'd later move up to third, and that would set up Levi Gauss. And if you're doing it right, everybody will be dancing. If you're doing it right, everybody will be dancing. Levi Gauss with the walk-off game winner. Second night in a row, Canton wins in walk-off fashion. They're headed off to state. The Tigers win 8-7. Wow, big showing for Canton. Congratulations to Clint Smith and everybody. Up next for the Canton Tigers on Tuesday, a trip to O'Fallon, Missouri for a showdown with a yet-to-be-determined opponent. But right now, the focus isn't on the opponent. It's on the Canton Tigers making history tonight.
We've been focusing all year, getting over the hump. We've always came up one game short. Now we finally get over the hump, and it feels amazing. We're happy to get there, and I've always wanted to go to state, but we're not going to just be satisfied with going there and just showing up. We got to show up to play, and we're going to go in there thinking we can win it. We know we can win it, and that's what we're going to keep trying to do.
And we'll have more on the Canton Tigers for you coming up tomorrow night. Now, fresh off earning the first regional crown in program history, West Hancock baseball. Well, the next bit of history for them would be even harder earned as the Tigers found themselves sequestered in a really difficult sectional at Monmouth. But they did have the ace of staff on hand tonight. Austin Hardy back ready to go at it. Titans down 1-0 in the top of the 5th right here. Runner on first for Tucker Zank. He singles to deep short to put 2 on, 1 out. And after a walk loaded the bases, it would be Andrew Hardy, and he has been hitting a ton this postseason with a sac fly to center field. Eric Bosshart beats the throw home. We're all tied up at 1 apiece. Eureka threatening with a runner on third in the 6th. Austin Hardy would get out of the jam, but unfortunately, West Hancock fell down 2-1 and could never get back over that deficit. With just 2 losses in the season, West Hancock's amazing season comes to an end. They lose to Eureka. 2-1 would be your final there. Other news tonight, Quincy High School unfortunately wastes a gem from Andrew Eilers, who threw a 2-hitter. Unfortunately, could find no offense against Edwardsville to support him. Edwardsville ends the Blue Devil season 1-0. Jacksonville's fine season comes to an end as well as they lose at Sacred Heart Griffin 3-0. How about Liberty and Pawnee going at it as well? Let's take you to the big fun tonight from this ball game. This was really the story of the game. In the first inning, things went horribly awry. Bases loaded for Liberty. They hit into a 1-2-3 double player, and then the next frame, it's Brady Bennett with the grand slam. That was the difference in the game as Liberty ends up getting beaten tonight by Pawnee. Final count in this one, 12-0 in favor of Pawnee. Up next for Pawnee, the other side of the bracket, it would be a pitcher's duel between Griggsville Perry and Jacksonville Rout. That meant 2 of the best pitchers in the area going at it to show you the highlights of that big showdown coming up right here. Apparently, we will not do that, so let's show you some soccer. Holy Trinity in action tonight, extra innings, and this, my friends, is golden goal time from Mitch Moeller, and that's all it takes in the second overtime. Golden goal from Moeller. That gets it done as Holy Trinity advances on to the sub-state finals. They end up winning tonight by the final count of 1-0. Back to the scoreboard we go for softball scores to pass along. As you saw, Quincy High School season comes to an end at the hands of Edwardsville tonight. 10-0 was your final there. Also, the baseball game that didn't come up, Griggsville Perry loses to Rout by the final count of 8-3. We'll show you those highlights just a bit later. Q&D tonight gets a comebacker from Kristen Gengenbacher late to help win this game in the 5th inning, down 1-0 to Jacksonville. The Raiders get the victory by the final count of 2-1. They advance on, and they will move on to play tomorrow, coming up against a very good Chatham, or I should say on Saturday, against a very good Chatham Glenwood team. And the feel-good story of the postseason, the Brown County Lady Hornets, who we'll tell you more about tomorrow. Big win over Carrollton. 8-4 was your final in that game, so congratulations to Brown County and company. We're going to check in with them tomorrow afternoon and tell you how their great story has unfolded. Finally, some football news to pass along tonight. The Tri-State's most storied football program is now under new leadership of sorts, but easing that transition is the fact that Illini West's new head coach has been instrumental in building the tradition of the program itself. As expected, defensive coordinator Lyle Klein was approved tonight by the Illini West School Board to succeed Tim Lafferty, who resigned earlier this spring. Klein has been a line coach and then later was made the guru on the defense, who has made the Chargers 5-2 scheme even in this day and age. So very, very successful. Much more on this story coming up tomorrow as well. Great stuff all around tonight. And here are those Route Griggsville Perry highlights. We promised you early a battle of aces on the hill. Dryden Craven starting things off with some gas for his team early. He would be matched by your reigning KHQA Player of the Year, Nick Lonergan, throwing darts as well. Scoring early in this game, not really eventful. However, Lonergan would reach base. He had 3 hits in this ballgame. Reach base here with an infield single. Later score on the sac fly by Dylan Jones. The big story in this game, with Griggsville Perry threatening, Route pulls off a triple play tonight. Ends up winning by the final count, as I mentioned, of 8-3.